Hello peeps, welcome back to Big Deck Playa with me, Matt Sparks. On today's show, we are taking a look at a Druid deck. It's been a little while since we've featured a Druid deck, and I like to try and mix things up a bit. I don't like doing the same decks over and over again. And this is referred to as the Chromaggus Druid. Alrighty, let's have a look at the deck. We're going to start off at the top and work our way down as usual. We start off with two Innovates. These are pretty much a staple for most Druid decks. There's not very many Druid decks you'll see without Innovate because it's such a good card. Such a good card. It allows you to play things a lot earlier than it normally would. So, awesome. Or it allows you to play extra things on a turn. So, yeah, Innovate, fantastic. One Zombie Chow. In all the times I've played this deck, I haven't yet to see the Zombie Chow. I guess if you can get it in your opening hand, it would be fantastic. But so far, I have yet to do that in the 6 or 7 games that I've played with this. So it's there, somewhere, in amongst everything else. We have two Wild Growth. Now again, this is just like Innovate is a staple of a Druid deck. Having the extra mana and ramping up to the higher mana quicker than your opponent means you can get big stuff out quicker, giving you an advantage. Also at 2 mana we have 2 Wrath for either dealing 3 damage or 1 damage and drawing a card. Now, because of the title of this deck being a Chromaggus Druid, I'm just going to skip down to Chromaggus so we know exactly what he does. So this is whenever you draw a card, you put another copy into your hand. So this is why I wanted to mention him now. So there's a little bit of card draw in this deck, and obviously that combos very nicely with Chromaggus. He's a 6/8 for 8, which isn't the best stats for an 8 mana legendary. There are plenty of other legendaries that have better stats than that. But giving you a copy of every card that you draw upon whilst he's in your hand is awesome. So stuff like Wrath, where you can do 1 damage and draw a card. If Chromagus is out on the board, you're not just drawing 1 card, you're drawing a card and then getting a copy of that card as well. We have 2, yes, that's 2 Big Game Hunter. I was a little unsure about having 2 Big Game Hunters in the deck, and so far I haven't actually needed to use, I think I've used 1 of them. I haven't actually needed to use both, but there are a lot of decks that I've played against before playing this deck that will bring out a Dr. Boom, and then you kill Dr. Boom, they bring out a Ragnaros, or they bring out an Alexstrasza, or they bring out, you know, something else that's big. So it's not completely wasted, although if you draw into a Big Game Hunter whilst you've got Chromaggus on the board, you'll end up with like 3 Big Game Hunters, or maybe 4 Big Game Hunters. So, yeah, I'm not sure you really need 2 in the deck, but it's entirely up to you. We have 2 Death Lords. Now, this is quite good because not only are you hoping to ramp up to get your higher mana creatures quicker, but this also will slow down your opponent because 8 health is a lot to get through when you're sort of playing at around 3-4 mana. So this can trade pretty well. At 3 mana also we have 1 Earthen Ring Farseer. If you get this out alongside your Deathlord, you can heal your Deathlord with it, which is pretty nice, and will probably annoy your opponent quite a lot. Obviously you can use it to heal yourself or anything else. So it's not bad. 3/3 for 3 isn't great, but restoring 3 health can be pretty useful. We have 1 Mind Control tech. We often see that your opponent will probably have 4 minions on the board. If they're playing a lot of kind of rush decks, I found that more often than not, my opponent will have 3 or 4 minions on the board. So allowing them to get 4 minions on the board just so you can use your Mind Control tech is not the worst idea. It's certainly not advisable, but if it means you can get one of his cards, then that could be pretty useful, especially if you can place a taunt down afterwards, or maybe use something like the next card, Swipe, to get rid of everything on his board. That would be useful too. So yeah, we've got 2 swipes. Again, this is like Wild Growth, Innovate. It's a staple of the Druid deck. you know, it wouldn't be a Druid deck without it. 2 Keeper of the Grove. Again, this is another Druid card that you kind of need to have in your deck because it's so good. 2 4 for 4 isn't the best stats, admittedly, but you do get the choice of either doing 2 damage or using it as a silence. 5 mana we have an Azure Drake. This again combos very nicely with Chromagus because it's got the draw a card battle cry on it. Also combos very nicely with stuff like Swipe and Wrath as well. So you can't really go too wrong with an Azure Drake. Also, 5 mana, we have 2 Druid of the Claw. This is another one that you need to have. It's a Druid of the Claw. It's like one of the best Druid cards, in my opinion. Having a 4/4 with Charge is awesome, and having a 4/6 Taunt is also awesome. So, yeah, you can't really go too wrong with the Druid of the Claw. We've got a Harrison Jones. Very useful against Warriors, Paladins, and Rogues. Sometimes Shaman. And again, because of his battle cry, not only does it get rid of his weapon, but it also draws cards equal to the durability. So having this combo with Chromagus could be awesome. Could be really, really good. It could also burn through like a bunch of your cards, and that could be bad. But so just make sure that, you know, if you're going to be destroying something that has a lot of durability, that you have and you have Chromagus on the board, that you have enough room in your hand to make space for all these new cards you're going to be getting. We have 1 Sludge Belcher. I mention Sludge Belcher virtually every week. I'm not going to mention anything about him this week other than he's pretty cool. 6 mana. We have Emperor Thaurissan. I've yet to play this card in this deck. It's a bit like Zombie Chow. He's in there somewhere. I just haven't got around to finding him. So having Emperor Thaurissan out on the board when you're drawing all these cards is going to be fantastic, because it just means that all your cards are going to get that little bit cheaper. And seeing as you're ramping up quickly as well, it's going to make things really difficult for your opponent. And stuff like Emperor Thaurissan is like, basically, he kind of acts like a soft taunt as well, because as soon as you put him out on the board, your opponent's going to want to get rid of him. If you get to use his special ability more than once, I think you've got very lucky. Also at 6 mana, we have a Sylvanas Windrunner. Sylvanas can be very cool. If you play her correctly, she can make quite the difference to the game. And again, she kind of acts like a soft taunt, because your opponent's going to want to get rid of her, but he's also not going to want to have anything out on the board when it happens. So sometimes it just prevents your opponent from actually playing any minions on the board, which is pretty cool. So Sylvanas is always a good card. At 7 mana we have 2 Ancient of Lore. This seems to be in every Druid deck I've ever played because it's great. Drawing 2 cards or restoring 5 health is pretty nice. And you don't have to restore the 5 health to yourself if you don't need to. You can always restore it to something else. You know, if you're playing against a warrior and you've got Chromaggus on the board, maybe instead of drawing the 2 cards, if you don't need the cards, you can use it to heal Chromaggus, because obviously there's always that possibility of execute. But on the other side, if he's going to die anyway, you might want to make the most of the 2 cards. But combos really nicely with Chromaggus, and it's a generally good card anyway. Also at 7 mana, we've had the Ancient of Lore, now this is the Ancient of War. You get to choose either +5 attack or +5 health and taunt. Having the kind of soft taunts that you play earlier in the game, stuff like Sludge Belcher, well, Sludge Belcher is an actual taunt, not a soft taunt, but stuff like Emperor Thaurissan and Sylvanas Windrunner, chances are they're probably going to have used their hard removal for those. So when you bring out an Ancient of War and he's got 10 health and taunt, chances are they're probably not going to be able to get rid of it too easily, which is going to be amazing for you, because it means that that guy is going to stick around for a while, which is great. Or if he's not going to stick around for a while, he's going to trade with at least 2 of your opponent's cards, maybe even 3. And then we've got 2 more cards, both legendaries, both at 8 mana. We have Chromaggus, as I mentioned earlier, and last but not least, we have Kel'Thuzad. He's also 6/8 for 8, and he will bring back to life any friendly minions that died that turn, which is pretty cool. If you can combo Kel'Thuzad and Sylvanas, you've basically got like an infinite way of being able to, provided they don't kill Kel'Thuzad obviously, you've got an infinite way of being able to take control of enemy minions, which is really cool. Obviously it allows you to make better trades as well, because you can, it doesn't matter that your minions die in the trade because you'll get them back. So that's awesome. So that's the deck. That is the Chromagus Druid. The deck is found on hearthstone.com. There will be a link in the description, so you can go and check it out for yourself. Head over there, give it a plus rating. It's a pretty interesting deck, and not something that I've seen or played something like this before, so that's pretty cool. I like finding these interesting decks that aren't the run-of-the-mill kind of mech mage, face hunter type decks. So I suggest you give it a try and see what you think. If you do play this deck, let me know how you get on. If you make any videos using this deck, feel free to link them to me on my Twitter, and I'll be sure to come check them out. And if you have any suggestions for decks for future episodes of Big Deck Playa, also be sure to link them to me, and I will go and have a look and investigate. I will see you next time for some more Big Deck Playa. Thanks again. Bye bye.